the money.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Fun hour ahead. Coming up here on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Player props and a really good card tonight in the NBA. David Purdam in 30 minutes, ESPN. This story with Porter in the NBA and how somebody was arrested over the weekend. Incredible write-up by David Purdam. He'll share that coming up at 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, right here on the Sports Betting Network. And tonight, Pauly, we have a great college basketball card. You asked me about this in the first hour. The SEC Conference Tournament could be like all-time good. Joe Lenardi sent this out today because it's such a strong SEC slate tonight. 8 teams are in action, most of them playing each other, that currently would be a top 6 seed in the tournament. He has Auburn and Alabama, each a 1 seed. Tennessee and Florida, a 2 seed. Kentucky and A&M, 3 seeds. Miss State, a 4, and Ole Miss, a 6. Plus, he has Georgia, a 7, Oklahoma, a 9, Missouri, a 10, and then you get into, like, Arkansas being the first team out. Vandy right there with them.
Yep, they might get 13 teams in.
Jeez.
I know. Imagine what the SEC tournament's going to be like. The other thing is Luke sent this over, who's a Bama fan. Alabama's scheduled to close the season.
Oh, this is bonkers.
Auburn, number 2 in the country. Are they at number 1 now? Did it flip? With it? Auburn, number 1 in the country. Kentucky, number 6 in the country. Mississippi State, number 14. Tennessee, Florida, Auburn. 6 of their last 7 games are against, well, 5 of them are against top 10 teams. The other ones are they're all top 15 other than the Missouri game.
How is this possible?
Look at that. He's got, they're a tournament team too, is right? Because Lenardi's got Missouri a 10 seed. So every game to close is a tournament team. And all of them but one are against ranked opponents, and who knows, maybe Missouri's ranked when they play them in February.
That is nasty, man.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
That's a grind.
Yeah, they're well said. The line of the week. Pauly, welcome back. So they're laying 12.5 tonight against Ole Miss.
I know.
The Rebels are 14-2.
I know.
And they're 3-0 in this league. Here are some numbers on the Crimson Tide. They killed Oklahoma by 28. They smashed South Carolina on the road. They beat A&M by 6 in College Station. Here's the thing. You know, this team, when they're making their threes, and you know, it's a very easy comment to make. When they're making their threes, nobody can beat them. Well, no kidding. But in this stretch, not really great from downtown. 13 of 37. That's okay. That's good. That's 35% against Oklahoma. They shot 8 of 19, which is 42%, but only took 19, hit 8 of them, and then 9 of 29 against Oklahoma, 31%. So they're gashing these teams, and the three-point shot has not been like the biggest story, which we all thought it was going to be. They're also the second-best offense in the country, the second fastest team in the country. They have played the second hardest schedule with net rating, third hardest versus offenses, fourth hardest versus defenses, so they're tested. Ole Miss's schedule is in triple digits. They're 200th in tempo. They're top 30 or 31 in offense, top 20 or 21 in defense. I want to make a case for the Rebels here plus 12.5, but Bama wins by like 18-20. I'm going to be pissed at myself.
Yeah, okay. That's tough with the point spread, I know.
Yeah.
You're more interested in the total? These are tough games. They're tough games. Like it's still 14-2 against 14-2, but it's 12.5, right? It's 15-1 Auburn against 14-2 Miss State. But that's a big number.
And what do you do with Broom's injury now?
That's right. And then how does it affect the total? Well, they still, they're averaging 87 a game in their last 10, and they're 9-1, and Miss State's averaging 82 a game in their last 10.
What do you think? This tells you how good that team might be this year. It's one of the guys I follow on Twitter. It might be Evan Maya. I think his name might be. He has awesome numbers, shares them for free pretty much all the time. And per his numbers, he still makes Auburn the 9th best team in the country with no Broom. That's how good they are. And so I think they're like, well, I don't want to say easily because Duke has been awesome too, but that team is just like lights out good with him. And I thought he was going to win the Wooden Award this year for being the best player because he's so dominant at both ends of the court. But to still maybe be a top 10 team without that guy, that's nuts. But who knows how much short term here, they might miss him now. It's a big number still for a team to be laying like that against another really, really solid squad.
I would take it with Ole Miss. I would bet the over in the Auburn game. And what do you think of Kentucky?
It's a big number.
Again, this is 13-3 against 13-3.
I know. A&M is without Wade again, third straight game, but they played well without the guy. With him, I know the number obviously would not be as high as it is right now, but I think they'd have a better chance of winning the game outright. So I'd probably be on A&M now. I think 7 that's still tantalizing to me to take the 7. Kentucky's much better at home than they are on the road. They have played a top 25 schedule to date. They have the third best offense in the country, but they're 87th overall in defense at Ken Palm. A&M top 20 schedule overall, 13th in defense, 29th on offense. They like to muck it up, grind you down. The tempo is number 221 overall. 7, I think, is going to be I might bet that. Might have to bet that.
Okay, haven't lost at home, but that's another tough game too.
Yeah, here's another one I'm looking at. So Illinois, one of their best players tonight, he's questionable, averaged like 15 points per game, hasn't played the last 2 games. They're at Indiana. I know Matt Humans on the website, vsin.com, the daily pick'em page. He's on Indiana. He took +4, which is out there right now. When you look at the Hoosiers' resume, it stings the eyeballs. Mm-hmm. Now, keep in mind, Illinois is ranked 13th at Ken Palm overall. Indiana has played 4 teams ranked inside his top 41. Here are the results. Louisville, 89, Indiana, 61. Gonzaga, 89, Indiana, 73. Nebraska, 85, Indiana, 68. Iowa, 85, Indiana, 60. So they have gotten absolutely clobbered, not even close, blowouts in every game against the 4 best teams that they have played so far this year. On the flip side, you have that old adage about an unranked team. They're not favored in this spot, but an unranked team here catching 4 points against Illinois, who has played, for the most part, really good basketball this year. Humans likes him. He loves loves betting on Big Ten basketball, too. So,
a great card tonight. I'm going to dig deep, too. Out here, Mountain West. I like the Aztecs to bounce back after getting humiliated on national TV at the Pit. Laying 6.5 against Colorado State. Colorado State, good at home, but I don't trust them on the road. And New Mexico can't beat 10 at San Jose State. Utah State wasn't laying that, and they didn't cover. So New Mexico can't beat 10. Utah State's better than New Mexico. So that was a nice win that the Lobos had Saturday, but I don't think they're going to repeat that performance, and they might be sniffing themselves as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't think they should be laying that tonight against San Jose State. And Arizona seems to be playing good ball, too. They're 5.5 at home to Baylor.
Yeah, Arizona has, really good metrics. As a team, I don't trust the coach at all. And it's like we've seen this now how many years in a row where it's like, hey, look, Arizona put together another awesome regular season. They have a ton of talent, and they flopped right away in the tournament. They are 17th in offense over at Ken Palm. They're top 25 in defense. So not quite like national championship worthy, but certainly a team that could maybe go on a decent run here. Not a team I want to look at in terms of betting on the future. But the portfolio here is expanding as the season continues. So I do like Ohio State in the national title game. I bet them on the money line. I parlayed them with Alabama to win the national title to get them up to more than 18-1. So first things first, I need the Buckeyes to win next Monday night against Notre Dame. But that was one way to get Bama from 14-1 up to 18-1. And Bama, again, with their schedule, they're playing great basketball. Their defensive numbers, 38th overall. So they are top 40, but that number needs to come down before they would qualify for a team that over the years would be good enough to win the whole thing. But they had an awesome roster coming back, and that conference is loaded, so they'll be totally battle-tested, obviously, come tournament time.
What are they going to do for seeding? What's the committee going to do? What if the SEC gets 13 teams in?
You're going to have to
be playing each other in the second round.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to avoid that.
You can't, no.
And I hate that because they've done that, I think, on accident before, and it always drives me nuts. But they're going to just have to plan it out the best they can, and that's going to be unavoidable. Unfortunately. Mm-hmm. Now, how many of those teams will actually suffer a ton of losses and just not have the good overall resume to get in out of the 13 that you're, right?
How many regions could they have the 1, 2, and 3 in? Or even the 1, 2, the 3, and the 4? Yeah. Auburn, 1 seed, Bama, 1 seed, Tennessee, Florida, 2 seats, Kentucky, A&M, 3 seats, Miss State, Ole Miss, 4 seed, 6 seed.
Well, if that's 7 teams that he currently has projected to be a top 4 seed, they're going to be all meeting again in the Sweet 16. Second round and or Sweet 16.
Yeah. Bozos can't screw this up, though, either. So now they're planning this meeting about the Power 4 conferences want control of March Madness.
I did not see that.
To shove out the little guy, right?
To shut him out?
Or to limit more, yeah. Would they take away, I don't know, would they dare take away automatic bids from the little guy?
Oh, don't say that.
And ruin this, and ruin the best 4 days in sports?
Don't even say that.
Like as Pat Forty was saying, you have every advantage. Why do you need more money? Why do you need more at-large bids? If you want to just expand by 4 teams so we get a couple more play-in games, okay, fine. You cannot eliminate the little guy from this thing. You can't do it. This is the only thing we all get together, we love, we celebrate it. It's the best 4 days. You have the best thing going. Don't touch it.
Right. It's been a gold mine for 35 years. But you know what? It's not going well. Let's flip it and give the big guys a little bit better of a chance. That'd be the dumbest thing ever.
They don't want the NC2A to run it, even though they do a great job. At least the one thing they do in terms of running tournaments, and right? But the Power 4 wants to say, maybe get a say in on how they're going to conduct this and how they're going to determine who gets in. VSiN fans, you're in luck. Derek Stevens offering you 15% at 3 incredible properties, Circa, the D, and Golden Gate. Book your 2025 stay now. CircaLasVegas.com. Use VSiN15. Get 15% off. Your Vegas adventure starts here. CircaLasVegas.com. VSiN15 to get 15% off. Get it now.
NFL up next. I don't think you can ignore how this unit has played for a month straight.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
Bloodbath last night, Monday Night Football. Rams all over the Vikings to the point where the Minnesota Vikings, it looked like they quit on national TV. Zero sense of urgency. Not throwing the football, running it all the time. They kind of just gave up. No, it was utter dominate. Both things can be true. We're like the Rams' defensive line completely overwhelmed the Vikings' offensive line. Darnold was far from great. KOC did not have a great game, but the Rams were awesome. You gave up on this team. You're from the area.
Yeah, well, they traded Randy Moss in his prime, and that's when I had enough. But just going back where it's, the Drew Pearson push-off, you're 0-4 in Super Bowls, you lose in 98 to the Falcons, you're 15-1. The Blair Walsh game, it's...
The Giants NFC title
game was over in the first quarter. They've lost 6 straight NFC championship games. Mm-hmm. This is the organization. Riding high, feeling good, 14-2. Biggest game in regular season history at Detroit. Punk, Darnold looks awful. Come back, okay, still got a chance, 14-3 on the road. You catch the break, the horrific events in L.A., games in Arizona, Viking fans take over, skull, and that's your performance, right?
Yeah.
So you go from 14-2 to 1 and done. And a long off season, and now it's who's your quarterback? How much money did Darnold cost himself? And as the world turns with the Minnesota Vikings, that's why Dan Wetzel's article on Yahoo Sports, which I retweeted, was so good about how Viking fans couldn't feel good about where they were at and going into the game because they've seen this train wreck before, and that's the best way for them to go out. Tortured fan base, and you could never buy in, even though as well as Darnold was playing down the stretch, you were still thinking, okay. Can they do this? Can we win? And I love how the Rams said they used it as fuel and motivation when after the game last week, Campbell said to O'Connell, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Yeah. And they said, no, you're not. No, but wait a second. And criticized McVay. Why aren't you playing people? Why do you want to go this route? And maybe it works out for him. But you're right. He's holding on to the ball too long, but the defense was great. And the Sam Darnold we saw the last 2 weeks is the guy who was seeing ghosts with the Jets and wouldn't throw the ball when guys were open and just made some atrocious throws. I mean, the one to Addison over the middle of the field, he's still running, wide open. The touchdown to Hawkinson, horrible throw. He made an unbelievable catch. But it's 9 points, and you're right. How many times did Buck say, do they know they're down 18? What are they doing here? Aikman and Buck speechless at what O'Connell was doing in the fourth quarter.
So I'll flip it here and move forward with the Rams as they go to Philadelphia this coming Sunday in the divisional round. When you go back and look at their overall schedule, Week 14, it was that incredible game against Josh Allen and Buffalo. Their defense allowed 42 points. Allen went scorched earth, and I thought at the time probably locked up the MVP. Probably going to be wrong on that. Okay, since then, weeks 15, 16, and 17, I'll throw 18 out against Seattle. Starters didn't go, so that's not going to count. But against the Niners, the Jets, and the Cardinals, they allowed 6 points to San Francisco, 9 to the Jets, 9 to the Cardinals. Last night, 9 to the Vikings. May I remind you, in that San Francisco 49ers game, Purdy played. Garando played, so there was no Mason, there was no McCaffrey. However, Kittle, Jennings, Pearsall, and Samuel all played in the game. The Jets game. Now, laugh at me all you want. In the game against Seattle, the Jets scored 21 points. In the game against Miami, they lost in overtime. They scored 26 points. They scored 32 on Jacksonville. They scored 32 the final week against Miami, held to 14 against Buffalo. In that game, sandwiched in between all of them, they scored 9 at home to the Rams.
They did a good job, yeah.
So 4 straight teams have scored fewer than 10 points against this defense. And in the regular season, weeks 15, 16, and 17, the defense was 8th in EPA per play allowed, 11th in EPA per pass, 4th in explosive pass percentage, 6th in explosive rush percentage, 1st in points per game, 1st in points per drive. Vikings last night, 3.8 yards per play, lowest output of the season, and they were held below 4.23 yards per play only one other time the entire year. So maybe, just maybe, what we're watching here with the Rams defense is legit, and that 44-42 game against Buffalo was kind of like the outlier. Now, they did allow 37 to Philadelphia 2 weeks before that, but I can't get over how well that this, Les Snead and the entire organization, how they've drafted on the defensive line. They have studs. They were making plays all over the place again last night. They're great.
Under then? Philly number 2 in points allowed and a top 5 EPA per play? With those corners, and they did a good job against the Packers, even though it was a mass unit?
How about rather than Rams first quarter, like I said earlier, how about first quarter under in the game?
Yeah. I'd like that Philly won and they can be pissed off. And Eagles fans upset at him. Booed him off the field at halftime. They should have been.
Yeah,
and Kellen Moore, horrible job. You get a 6-yard run by Barkley after the interception on first down. You go pass.
Right.
Just run it a couple more times and kick it. But they got to get Hurts fixed. They got to get Hurts right. But
maybe that doesn't come in this game.
I don't know, but maybe the extra week of practice is going to help, but he was rusty.
Oh, yeah.
And he was terrible in that game against the Packers. The fact that wasn't a blowout, you're +4 in the turnover battle, they lose their 4 top weapons, they're down 2 linemen,
yeah,
and they combined for, 5 holding calls? Ridiculous. Packers still should have covered. Eagles were going to give it to him, and then Love throws it in the end zone from midfield. But
imagine, again, think for a second if the referees don't completely screw up the opening kickoff call.
Right.
Can't have this. That's not 7-0 right away, Eagles.
Can't have this. That's not getting enough attention. How do you blow that call, and how do you miss the hold on Surtain, on Kincaid, right in front of everybody?
Yeah.
The official standing right there, doesn't see it. Grabs him in the end zone.
More so, when you go to replay and fans at home, bettors at home, watching from our couches, we get the overhead view. But they can't use that on the field?
Yeah, Pereira said that. I couldn't believe it. What do you mean they don't have that look, Mike?
What are we doing here?
Yeah, he had it for 2 or 3 Mississippis. The old Lombardi line. He's got 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. And then the Eagles come in and steal the ball from him. And that's got to be Packer ball.
And clearly that would have been down by contact.
Uh-huh.
So you're going to go to replay, but not every angle is usable by the actual officials on the field. Who comes up with this idea?
Yeah. I see Scheffer's crew has one of the games, too. I hate that crew. Flag-happy crew. But this stuff can't happen. But maybe it's an under with the Rams, and a little surprised it opened 6.5. But again, do you throw it out? But Philly had no problems in the first meeting. Although you might argue it's a different Rams team. But then Barkley ran wild in that game.
I have no idea how Jalen Hurts is going to play in this upcoming game.
But this team, there's too many weapons. This team should not look like that. They should have an unbelievable, hard-to-stop offense. With Brown and Smith and Goddard. How about that? Get off me. Get off me. That was awesome. Barkley. I mean, there's too many weapons here. And then you can get creative with what you do with Hurts. And then I find Dotson for the touchdown. And I have other guys to get involved. I mean, they should not struggle on offense. But Fangio has also done an excellent job. So can they slow down the run? Can they harass Stafford and maybe get a turnover.
I like Hurts as a weapon overall, but let's face it. I mean, he's not like an elite down the field thrower. So that's a major problem when you're going to try to unleash guys like Brown and Smith and Goddard. So, I mean, if this guy is not going to be much better than he was against the Packers, the Rams can absolutely go there and win this game. Honestly, like, nothing's going to surprise me this weekend in the NFC. Nothing surprises me. And the only thing that would be if Washington went to Detroit and blew them out. That's the only thing that surprises me. Washington winning, don't even fall off my couch.
Oh.
But like any other scenario,
I'd be stunned if Houston won. Stunned. Mahomes 6-0 in the divisional round.
Yeah, no, I was talking about the NFC.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Houston since week 9, 27th EPA per play on offense. And like Ryan said after the game, the snap over his head somehow bounces right back to Stroud.
Yeah, that's
turns into a big play, changed the game. The prior play should have been intentional grounding in a safety. But in any event, Herbert with an all-time meltdown.
Yeah, I do wonder how the Chiefs' offensive line is going to hold up against the front for the Texans. A lot of talent on that side of the ball for Houston. That unit carried them this year because Stroud and the offense did basically nothing. And then you saw just how they have elite playmakers in the secondary. They've done a good job drafting that side of the ball, and then free agency as well. But if Anderson and Hunter can get home against Mahomes, I mean, like last night, right? What was the biggest problem for Tom Brady? Like in Super Bowls, the Giants' front four, they would not need to blitz, and they could get to Brady both times they beat him. That was awesome for the Giants. And I also think about the AFC title game in Denver against the Broncos when Peyton Manning, it was no longer the same guy, but they won the Super Bowl. That defense hit Brady like every time he dropped back to pass.
They didn't convert a third down conversion in the second half and still won the game.
The Broncos.
Yeah,
because the defense, they were in his face the entire game.
I think he'll be okay. And to get everyone back. Now, the other thing is they do this all the time. It's not a problem, but he hasn't taken a snap since Christmas. But all this time out. But then with getting all these guys back, and Jones is back, and Taylor's good to go, Pacheco's good to go, Watson's back. I mean, how does the offense? Houston's good. I don't think Houston's a good team.
Yeah, how does that offense match what Mahomes and the offense off a bye? Guys are going to be healthy now. What they can do? They're going to need like 3 turnovers again in this game.
Yeah.
And with Mahomes in the playoffs, okay, good luck with that. David Purdam joins the program. ESPN up next. This sports betting scandal gets juicier by the day. And how good of a football year has it been for the public? And in turn, how bad was it for books? We'll ask him coming up next here on VSiN.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
This story in the NBA, I know it's a little bit old, going back to like last year, but the updates are coming in on a daily basis now involving Jonte Porter, former Raptors player who was involved in this betting scandal. The details are ridiculous, and I can't even believe that some of the people involved it would get to this point, Pauly. And David Purdam has done an incredible job writing about it at ESPN.com, and he joins the program now here on the Progressive Guest Line. David, thanks for the time as always. We appreciate it. Hope you're well. What is the latest update, by the way? Can you give us some of the details on a Vegas man who was recently arrested?
Yep, on Sunday at Harry Reid International Airport there in Las Vegas, Shane Hennon, who's kind of a known poker player, sports bettor around town, was arrested while he was attempting to board a flight to Colombia by the federal government. He has been charged with conspiracy for wire fraud transactions related to the Jonte Porter betting scandal. He appeared in court on Monday and was released, but is now expected to head back to Brooklyn, where this case is being prosecuted out of here in the coming weeks.
Why was he going to go to Colombia?
He told the feds he had to get some dental work done in Colombia, and that was his thing. He had multiple cell phones on him, about $10,000, just under $10,000 in cash when they found him. And according to the feds, a document they posted, they have substantial evidence that Mr. Hennon was allegedly involved in a bunch of different fraudulent sports betting transactions. So there's still a little more to come on this story for sure.
Oh, God. The story's excellent, and you're reporting. How about in the article with Porter texting these guys at halftime about the plan? Hey, my eye's bothering him. I'm going to say it hurts like heck. I'm going to get out of here, or I'm going to do this in the next game. Don't leak it. Don't tell anyone. And then Hedman's telling everyone. And then he's also betting $25,000 parlays.
Yeah, he was working through a bunch of proxy bettors, evidently. A lot of these bets were these single game, same game parlays. DraftKings and FanDuel isn't there in Nevada. So if he was in Nevada trying to make those bets, he wouldn't have been able to as easily. So he had to reach out to his proxies out there, and this is according to the federal documents, and get all these bets down, including some pretty big ones. You wouldn't think they would be willing to take, a couple $1,000 on a parlay, $20,000 on a parlay involving under bets all on one player. It seems like it stuck out, pretty evidently. And the books, to their credit, they did flag them, right? Hey, something is up here, and that's where we're at.
So when people hear that, they're like, wait, $20,000 on a parlay with player props, how and other people are getting limited over the years to like $5 on stuff or maybe less than that. Can you explain to people like why somebody might be allowed to get down that much money?
Yeah, they call them a clean account, right? You get this new account and it hasn't been flagged for any kind of sharp play, or the algorithms that the sports books use to identify sharp play. It hasn't triggered on this account. And so when these clean accounts that they call them are worth a bundle, and people will try to get a hold of these guys that have these clean accounts and use them to place larger bets than they would be able to if they have been placed on a bet that's been way established, an account that's been way established and shown some sort of signs of sophisticated betting, and has triggered the algorithm that makes limit these bettors. So he had a lot of these accounts. Evidently, the government described in the documents that he has a network of proxy bettors across the nation, and it was one of the reasons they were hesitant. They did not want him to be released. They wanted him to be detained after he got arrested, because they thought that these network of bettors and these proxies might be able to help him kind of evade the authorities.
Excellent job. David Purdam on the Progressive Guest Line, ESPN. Follow the Money, Pauly and Mitch VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. The other story you had, two of them, was how bad home dogs were this year in the NFL and how favorites crushed it. And John Murray at the Westgate had the great line, it'd be cool if a dog could win a game. Well, then tie that into what happened this past weekend again. Ohio State wins and covers, Ravens win and cover, Eagles win and cover, Bills win and cover. What did bookmakers tell you?
It wasn't good. They said that this was one of the most costly NFL seasons overall. FanDuel reported that it downgraded its guidance, its financial guidance. I believe it was like $350 million, somewhere around there for the third quarter there, because of customer-friendly results in the NFL. Favorites won more games than they ever have in any season, dating back several years. Now we've gone to a 17-game season, but this was the most that they had ever won in a season, just straight up. And they had a pretty good record against the spread. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it was 54%, which was one of the better records against the spread. So public loves to bet the favorites, and the favorites delivered this year.
Now, how about the New York story? Put this in perspective. What's happened since New Year's Eve on what happened, New Year's Day, on what's happened in New York?
So New York is one of the only states that reports the amount wagered and the amount won by the sports books on a week-to-week basis. And last week they reported, and this is the week that was ending at January 5th. It covered New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, Week 18 of the NFL. Well, when they reported it, $600 million had been bet with New York sports books during that week. That's the most ever since they legalized it. It's significantly more than last year, over $100 million I was looking at compared to last year around that same time. So the college football playoffs, some big NFL games, including that Vikings game, Vikings-Lions game, that was the last one. Big money was wagered in New York. Really set records.
Okay, I get like more games have been on the schedule, but 6 times the amount, same time frame from a year ago, that seems impossible.
Well, it was 100 million times, 100 million more. They had 500 million around there last year. It went up to 600 million.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said it was 100 million the year before. My apologies. Okay.
No, but about a 20% increase, which is still incredible. And you think that, okay, The difference was, according to the sports books, I think Joey Fiesel over at Caesars would tell me, he thought it was just that there was those meaningful college football games, those big ones. We had the playoffs all through there, compared to when you had those those bowl games in the years past where they didn't really matter. And he thought that was the big increase. And certainly the books enjoyed it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Were you surprised at the Notre Dame money the last few days?
I was. I really was. They said that they got hit. Sharps got hit on Texas betting against Ohio State right at the gun before the game started then. And then again this week, the national championship game line, it was all the way up to 8.5, 9.5. It's down to 8 at a lot of places. I even see a 7.5 at DraftKings when I was looking here just a little bit. Again, they reported sharp money. John Murray, you guys just talked about, he said that they took a sharp bet on Notre Dame plus 9.5 on Sunday, right after, and the day after that they had opened the game. Caesars also reported some sophisticated action on Notre Dame, and that's driving the number down. Now, I will note that, 9's not a super key number here, right? So if you're trying to drive that number down and then come back heavy on Ohio State, maybe this is what you do it. And it hasn't gotten down to 7 or any kind of key number like that. If it does, that'll really tell you something.
Well, I mean, is that really, do you think there's a scenario where that does take place? I know that people have been kicking that around. Like if it touches 7, then I know other groups are going to come in and bet Ohio State. But do you think it will get down to a flat 7?
I do not.
Okay.
It's 7.5, and there was some extra juice on DraftKings. Caesars seemed to think that it could get down there close, and they were kind of basing that on that money that they saw laid on Texas. They seem to think that the Ohio State has been so impressive, right? And their numbers have really grown. Some of these point spreads on these pre-look-ahead games have really grown to where they are now. And some people think that Ohio State's a little overinflated now. They've been so good. Great
job, sir. Keep up the good work. We'll reach out soon.
You got it, guys. Hope to see you around Super Bowl.
All right, beautiful. That was awesome.
I can't believe the Porter story, and he's right. There's more to come out, but it's like when you read the article, Porter's telling him what he's going to do about, hey, the eye's giving me problems. I'll say I'll come out at halftime, or hey, I'm going to play it. It's a blowout. I'm going to take a ton of shots, whatever.
I'm going to take a million shots.
He's
what
texting
he said
at halftime, right?
Yes.
And then Henman, this guy who got arrested, dental work guy. He's taking the screenshots and he's sending them out to people after Porter saying, don't leak it, don't say anything. And this guy's then telling everybody.
Yeah.
Then, of course, killed in the Golden Goose and doing $30,000 parlays.
Yeah, you might want to keep this one quiet.
Oh,
rather than spreading it like, I was going to say something there. I won't now. But he's a rabid anti-dentite now, probably, after getting arrested at Harry Reid International Airport. Going to Colombia. What are you going to do in Colombia?
Yeah.
I need my teeth fixed,
One-way ticket.
Yes, right.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I might enjoy it down there. Who knows?
Henman. Oh, this is good. Oh, damn. What a story.
This is, it's not even once in a lifetime. It's once in like 100 lifetimes to be in this spot, and then you just...
You blew it.
You totally blew it.
You could have had, yeah. Perfect scenario, because you had it 4 or 5 times where he gave out the information.
But also, I got to question the acting chops here by Porter as well.
Yeah.
I think people probably would have caught on to that guy's. I got something in my eye again. I got to come out.
Yeah, he wasn't. He needed a better player. Like Headache Smith at Arizona State was perfect. He was the best player on the team that would guard the best player.
Yeah.
Then he could say, I knew if I just gave this guy an inch, he'd not make the shot, but I could make it look good.
Up next, we'll dive into the NBA card with player props as well. Don't look now, but they have the 3rd best net rating in the league during this recent hot stretch. It's Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
NBA games are tipping in a little bit more than an hour here on a Tuesday night. Some point spread movement over the last 20 minutes. On paper, this was, I thought, going to be a really good game tonight. Cavaliers at the Pacers. The number was down. Cavaliers around 6.5 in the game. The Pacers actually last 7 games in the NBA. Their net rating is 11.5, second best in the entire league. However, tonight, the news, no Tyrese Haliburton, not going to play. Ben Shepherd will start for him, so they're going to go with Nembhard, Shepherd, Mathurin, Siakam, and Turner in their starting 5, and the Cavaliers have been bumped up now to 8.5-point favorites.
Man, It reeked of the Atlanta home and home when Cleveland got beat both games, but they blew a big lead against the Pacers at home. And I guess the one kryptonite could be they struggle with bigger guards, but Pacers now playing good ball. Cavs dropped to 33-5, and Pacers have won 6 in a row now. But now with Halliburton out, maybe they get revenge, or they could come in again, right? You see this all the time in the NBA.
Wow.
Disrespect the opponent. Next thing you know, we got a game. And they screw around, play with their food.
Yeah, Paul, we've had a handful of examples over the last few days in the NBA. Numbers go up, players are out, and what happens? A team either takes them lightly or the backups come in and they have awesome games and it's tightened down to the wire, and oh my God, we have a ball game now all of a sudden. And that steam or those books changing numbers because of players being out was the wrong move, evidently. Nuggets are playing at the Mavericks tonight. Denver, they have the 4th best net rating in the NBA over the last 10 games. VSiN.com, daily prop analyzer under tools. Christian Brown is 32-5 over 9.5 points. However, his minutes per game have decreased every month in order this year. He's down to 30.3 in January, and he's been below 30 minutes in 5 straight games. So I'm not playing him tonight. I did play, this is coming up in pocket a little bit later on, Russell Westbrook's last 4 games, 33-plus minutes, 22.8 points, 17 attempts per game, 51.5%, 9 rebounds, and 7.8 assists. Putting up really, really good numbers here for a Denver team that had to have it.
I agree with Tim Bontemps, though. This will backfire by doing this, putting Westbrook into the starting lineup as the team was so bad off the bench, and now you're taking away minutes from Brown, who you're going to need. So I think this spells doom once you get to playoff time for Denver.
In the meantime, you need to be betting Westbrook props every single night.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's easy, though. Of course he's going to play well. He's got the best player in the world now. Before, he wasn't playing with them. Joker was on the bench. Westbrook was coming in. He is knocking down his corner threes, though, at an all-time high. Joker on a 23-9 overrun, too, with threes on the prop analyzer up today at vsin.com. So I think the number's too low. They blew him out in the last game, but Kyrie should be back. But I trust Denver here in this spot. Again, it's a weird back-to-back here. Well, home and home. Back-to-back in Dallas, though, is what I'm trying to say. So that's odd. And the other one with the Bucks game, what's the juice on Giannis? 19-1 to the under on threes?
Is it
still $3?
I think it's like minus 350 now.
Okay, all right. But the Bucks were humiliated in New York. And now it might be a good thing that Middleton's out because he's been so bad defensively and he's been coming off the bench. You got to think the Bucks show up here in this
I
one.
would think so.
Doug Christie's done a great job.
And
How about this?
Yep.
How about the Kings getting rid of Mike Brown, who 2 years ago won Coach of the Year, and now they lost to the Lakers, and they've been great. They've been great in crunch time. They go into Boston and win. This is what a move this has turned out to be. And a lot of people ripped it, and so far so good for Christie with the Kings, but I would just think the Bucks show up after getting embarrassed. It's a Jeff Sherman angle, too. Show some pride, got humiliated in New York, and you bounce back here at home against the Kings.
That's what I would think. The Kings are also a little bit shorthanded tonight. Malik Monk is not going to play. And so what happened here was Doug Christie put him into the starting lineup. During the 7-game winning streak, Monk is averaging 22 points, 7.6 assists, and 1.7 steals. He's been playing great basketball. And since the start of this winning streak, when you break down the numbers in that rating, they are one of the best teams in the entire NBA, and now they're gaining ground in the Western Conference playoffs on top of that. So I would actually look at the Kings, but I'm not going to get there without Monk. And I do understand your point, though, right? I mean, that was a 30-point game for a lot of the second half against the Knicks. How do they not respond tonight in this game?
Yep.
For the Bucks I'm talking about here.
The Knicks are not playing well either.
No.
Lost to the Pistons at home. Lost some other so-so teams at home. Yep. And yet they get throttled in that game. How about the Thunder? 17 of 18. Number 1 team ATS against the spread. Too much, though? 11 on the road in Philly?
Well, I mean,
but it's okay.
During that stretch, they were covering every number anyway.
Yeah. Oh, 12.5 now. Oh, my God. Look at this number.
I know. Well, it's OKC, and they're covering every game. So they're 25-12 with 2 pushes against the spread. That's nuts for a team to be this good and blowing out other teams. Paul George, by the way, flipped this now. He's been blazing hot, going over Murray. 2.5 threes.
Yeah, Murray's been going over for the Pelicans.
Right. Okay, player prop. What do you got?
I also was going to say, boy, the Pelicans blew this with Zion. What could you even get for him now? Got suspended because he was late. He's always late for stuff.
I know.
Put a lock on the refrigerator and hire someone he missed the team flight. Between that and the injuries, they screwed this up. They could have dealt him and got something. Now who even wants the guy?
I honestly
can't stay healthy and no show, and he's got the thing with the porn star and all that.
Well, was that still going on, or was that like 3 years ago?
Still fresh to me.
It's still fresh to you?
Yes.
I think it's far from...
The fact that he puts himself in that position.
Let's be honest.
Was it a year ago?
It's far from fresh.
No, it's a year ago. Mariah Mills?
I'm not talking about that, yeah.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. But the fact that he's even got that going on. What are you doing?
That's a little odd.
He was with her, then he's got the other girl pregnant, and then they...
By the way, did he take a shot at Joy Taylor, or was that like AI that I saw? With everything that's going on. Did you see this?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, who knows? People are making stuff up. He's like, hey. Anyway, I saw something as like Zion's account took his shot, and she's like, oh, get out of here.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's probably fake. Who knows? But I thought it was funny when I saw it anyway. So I don't know. Teams in the NBA, they give guys crazy contracts all the time, and they give up a ton of picks. So I'd like to sit here and tell you that nobody would break the bank for the guy, but maybe somebody would. Here's my G-Bank bet of the night. Got to go to the well one more time. And it's a 3-point prop. We're going Anthony Simons for the Portland Trailblazers. They take on the Nets. His 3-point attempts last 5 games, it's at 11. He's making 5.4 of them. Certainly helps that he's making 49.1% of that time. If you go back a little bit more this month, 10.7 attempts, shooting 48.4%. The guy, again, this goes back to what I was talking about yesterday. Taking a lot of threes, that's the number one thing I'm going to be looking for, playing these player props. I want still like a reduced number or plus money on a prop bet. So like Steph Curry, every game, you can say, well, I think he's going to make 5 or 6 tonight. Well, no kidding. You can do that every single time, but it's going to be inflated for the 3-point prop. His number is still 3.5. You get plus money on the over. Had to bet it again tonight. Mm-hmm. So there are plenty of players that qualify. I missed one yesterday with Malik Beasley. Look at his numbers, by the way. What a season this guy's having. I know you brought them up 2 minutes ago. The Pistons are a team, they're totally on the ascend. And they are going to be a really good basketball team, probably starting next year. They might be for the rest of this season, by the way. But Cade Cunningham's playing out of his mind, putting up great numbers, and he just kind of stinks that Ivy got hurt.
Best Bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VEASAN. If you're serious about sports betting, need the G-Bank Visa Signature Card. Most credit cards treat sports books and gaming transactions as cash advances, even when you put your own money on the card. G-Bank treats gaming transactions as purchases, so you're typically saving up to the 3 to 5% on cash advance fees right there. For a limited time, get a $250 bonus after you spend $1,000 in your first 90 days. Apply now, VEASAN.com/G-Bank, VEASAN.com/G-Bank, subject to credit approval.
I actually do have a little bit more on that Pelicans-Bulls game. I forgot about it here for a second, but when the Pelicans played Boston over the weekend, they had some guys back. They had Zion, they had Murray, they had Murphy. It was the first time all 3 guys played together this year, and that was game number 40. I missed the best number on Trey Murphy today. He is averaging 26 points per game in January, almost 36 minutes played, rounded up to 11 3-point attempts per game. He's shooting 37% from downtown. He's averaging 4 makes per game. It was 2.5, like minus 150 earlier today. Definitely a number I wanted to play. By the time I went to go bet it, it vanished and it was wiped away. I'm not going to bet it now because the Bulls, it's too high, and the Bulls have the second best 3-point defense in the NBA.
Does this still qualify as a Malinsky special? Atlanta returned home after a 7-game road trip on the West Coast,
right.
But the game against Houston was canceled because of the weather. Now they play Phoenix.
I think, yeah.
Okay. It's their first game at home in 12-something days, something like that.
Yeah, plenty of days, yeah.
And I forgot it in win-lose. We're back, baby! We're back! The Blackhawks have played 11 straight overs in the first period.
Yep.
Let's do this again. Let's turn back the clock.
Well, we are going to on Friday, right? Because we're going to be back on Sirius XM. So
let's curse, fire alarms. Come on, bring it all back.
Yep.
The good stuff. Lock me out of the studio. Come on.
Tip of the cap to the Ice guys, Ian Cameron, good. Alex Smith. Alex Smith was the first guy originally on that, like back in 2019, and sent me a message a couple days ago. Blazing hot again with that angle. Up next, we'll hit the loaded card in college basketball tonight with Dalen Cuff from ESPN. What does he make of this huge Bama number against a really solid team in Ole Miss?